Hello, I'm Lisa Sabaniak from Life Like You Mean It. And today I'd like to share my thoughts on how deep our beliefs actually run and how they are impacting our lives and what you can do about it. I speak a lot about beliefs because, well, it's that important, right? It makes up the bulk of the work that I do because it makes up the bulk of the decisions that we make driving our show every single day. And for most of us, it goes unnoticed. We do not realize the impact that our beliefs are having in our lives. So I'm going to use an example of a recent student of mine involved in my The Rise of You 2.0 1 year long coaching program. And this particular person, we were looking at their belief about money. And the whole group were doing an exercise to start to break down their own story about money. Now, I chose money because while this is a specific group for us to be working through to learn to love and accept and respect ourselves as we have always deserved, to talk about the trauma that has brought them to the place of needing a program like this could be a little bit triggering. But money tends to be a classic belief that people are running with that is hindering them in many aspects of their life. Of course, career sounds like that would definitely resonate, what they do with their finances, but also in other areas of their life without even realizing it. So it's an important one to look at and less likely to bring up any traumatic memories. So, this group was going through and answering different questions to try to identify what language was being used when they were young by their parents or the adults that were around them about money, how much money they had, about people that had more money than them, for example, and just looking for different things that could have been said to a young child or around a young child that then starts to become a belief. So, for example, for me, the adults around me always talked about people with more money than us as being filthy, stinking rich. Now, they may have been saying it with a smile on their face. It might have been people that they absolutely adored. And maybe there was a little bit of sarcasm in there. But as a child, I heard with money, you are filthy, stinking rich. Why would you want to be filthy? And why would you want to be stinking? Right? That's not something you would aspire to. And so then that impacted me naturally on how much money I earned. Now, I've always been a hard worker. I've always set lofty goals for myself. So I've always been that person that sets the goal, reaches the goal, earns the money because of reaching the goal. But because I felt deep down that money was filthy and I would be stinking if I had that money, then I really got in my way of earning the amount that I really could have been earning. Or when I was earning a good, decent amount, I found lots of reasons and ways to spend it, and not always on things that would bring me joy and pleasure. Right? There were always other bills to add on to that. So I didn't allow myself to enjoy that money until I figured out that this belief was at play. Now, this particular person did not have any recollection of any kind of language being used to talk about anybody with money in a derogatory tone. So he really felt that, I don't think that I've got any negative kind of belief about earning lots of money. I just remember, rather than talking negatively about people, we just didn't have it. We just didn't have money. And so we went in to explore that a little bit further because, of course, you don't know what you don't know, right? If you've grown up without money, then you don't know what it's like to have money. So you don't know what it is that you're missing. So, and those years as a child, this is just normal for you. You're not necessarily developing any kind of negative connotation towards money. This is just how life is. But when we explored his case further, he let us know that, well, mom always got paid at the beginning of the month. And so the first 2 weekends of the month, there was plenty of food in the house. We could do what we wanted and eat what we wanted. But by the third weekend, there wasn't a lot of options for food. And by the fourth weekend, there was almost nothing that was available. And so we explored this further to find what the belief was in there. And he realized that because of that upbringing, he formed a belief without realizing it that by the third weekend of the month, there is no money. And so then we took a look at his life. Now, wouldn't you know, this grown man who's quite successful in his business, right, has been promoted several times, is in an amazing career that he has built from the ground up, earns plenty of income to support himself and his family, has the beautiful house, has all the stuff, right? Has definitely worked himself out of this position that he was in as a child, but he has the belief that by the third weekend of the month, there is no money. So while he has done more for his children than what his mom was able to do, and there was always food in the house that the children do not notice any kind of difference by the third weekend of the month in terms of their options for food or how much food is available, he still has himself and his whole family in a cycle of the first 2 weeks of the month. We can go and do activities, we can do stuff, order in takeaways, do all of this kind of stuff that costs money, buy some things for ourselves, for our house, whatever. And by the third weekend of the month, we are now budgeting. We have plenty of food in the house, but we're going to restrict our takeaways. We're going to do less physical activities, no more going to the cinema or going bowling or whatever it is that's going to cost money. We're going to rein that in for the second 2 weeks of the month until payday comes on Monday. And when he was prompted to look deeper and realize that he always has the same amount of income coming in on the first of the month and the same amount of expenses, generally speaking, each month, that there's no reason why he couldn't budget so that that lasts throughout the whole month rather than splurge the first 2 weeks and then go and have to be more restrictive in the second 2 weeks. So, why wasn't he doing that? Of course, you know why. It's because he has a belief that by the third weekend of the month, there is no money. And so his behavior reflected that. His behavior with his entire family reflects that deep rooted belief that he didn't even realize was there. And so now he's in a pattern that is completely unnecessary, right? He's got the means. He just has a behavior, which is a habit that he has formed because of this belief. That's how deep your beliefs go. So, what do we do about it? We raise our awareness so that we start identifying the beliefs that are at play. And then we start doing the work to adapt those beliefs. How do we do that? That's where I come in. If this has really blown your mind and you resonate with this, then please leave a comment, reach out to me directly, and we can have a conversation about how I can help in your particular scenario. Bless.